What's up, everybody? Welcome back to All Things Nerdy with Nate and Joe and our panel guests, Keeton and Eli. Once a month, we do an anime featured episode. It is that day of the month, so we're going to be talking about some upcoming anime, some animes that were just released, and what we have to look forward to, and kind of what we're most excited about with those, and all of that. Joe?
Yep, super excited. Glad to have Keaton and Elijah back with us again. But without further ado, talk nerdy to us.
Eli.
Quick side note. I just noticed your hat, Joe. That hat's badass.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Here, I'll take it off.
I'll
take it off so you can see everyone.
Yes.
So starting off, does Dragon Ball Z hold up today?
No.
Look, and I got the Goku shirt on. I look like I'm like the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan person. Got a Dragon Ball tattoo on my arm. Like, look, it's just nostalgia, okay?
Yeah.
So, I'm in a.
The people started.
I'm sorry. What'd you say, Keaton?
I said, of course it's legendary. It got like 90% of the people started on anime. So
yeah.
So I'm actually in a D&D campaign where I'm a player, and there's Dragon Balls. Well, they're not Dragon Balls for legal purposes, but there's Dragon Balls in there. And then also so it's all about Ravnica. It's based around magic, but he's implemented because a lot of us like anime. Like Rock Lee has made an appearance in one of the fighting arenas and stuff like that. Dragon Balls are a big part of the story. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool.
Like the reptile spheres or something.
and Lock Ree instead of Lock Lee Rock.
Wait, so in D&D, can you not use actual characters?
I mean, you can. Yeah, the legal purposes thing is just a joke. He just kind of changed them so it's more fitting to the lore and the world versus just calling them magic balls. So but that was kind of his like joke. He's like, for legal purposes, because Wizards just did a thing where they're trying to like bring in a lot of the IPs and the rules and like charge people to use them and stuff. So he was kind of dissing Wizards, which is hilarious if you know everything.
That is crazy.
Yeah, Wizards sucks.
Well, we digress, though. Not really the topic that we were meant to start off with here, but Wizards suck. But yeah. So Nate, solo leveling. We've all caught up with it. We've all watched the first, I guess, part of the.
And there will be spoilers. So if you're watching this, you haven't seen Solo Leveling, we will try not to just like blatantly say this happens, but we will talk about fights. We will talk about things like that and other parts of the show. So just, heads up, there will be spoilers.
I'm going to go ahead and call it now that Nate doesn't like the leveling system and that he thinks that the main character is too overpowered and the level scaling is not something that he appreciates.
I'm actually going to counter you on that and say it's the complete opposite.
You think Nate thinks the complete opposite of that?
Yes, but I think he's semi-blinded by the video game lore.
That's fair. All right, Elijah, do you have a guess on how Nate feels about solo leveling?
I don't know. I'm very entertained by all of us speaking of Nate as if he's not here. So I'm just here for whatever.
Well, Eli, you got to break the tie. Do I love it or do I not love it? You got to weigh in.
I will go with you like it. That's
also
guess.
It's too early for him not to like it.
Well, let's get y'all's thoughts first, since we just talked about me. So,
just gonna leave us hanging.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave you hanging for a minute. That's what good TV does. You gotta film the extra scene. Wait, next week's episode, we'll tune back in with how I feel. But like, we're gonna cut at the very end with me being so. My thoughts on solo leveling next week. So, Eli, kick us off. We'll go Eli, Keaton, Joe. Eli, what are your thoughts on solo leveling? The leveling, just the game, the world, all of it.
Okay, so we mentioned it before, and I kind of deep dove into it. So the original story, the writing's Korean, which I thought was cool. It's a Japanese studio that picked it up and animated it, hence the style. But I I automatically I like it a little bit. I'm a little biased because it's Korean writing, so that's cool. But it starts off like I've mentioned. I watch a lot of isekai because I've become a garbage human now. Uh, and, this whole like person gets transported to another world, and it almost always ends up with they're super overpowered. They get some broken skills. I kind of like the world within a world story of this show because it's unique. It's one way to make it unique. That being said, I wasn't like totally in love with the premise from the get go. The like, it's still, it's hard to come to terms with. I feel like invisible screens, and he's playing a video game in a real world that also has a fake world, and okay, we're getting very meta now, and so I like the animation, I like the action, the drama from the beginning, and the characters seemed really strong. I feel like there wasn't in the end a ton of actual character development. It just sort of seemed like a prequel, just sort of leading up to and setting the scene for everyone. But overall, I give it like a solid 7 out of 10. But I do have my qualms with it, just because I think the premise, although it is technically unique, I think is a little odd still, a little full of holes for me.
Okay, I like the 1 to 10 rating. We can all do that for it as well. I like that. Just for everybody to understand, Eli, what's a 1? What's a 10?
Oh God, I don't often rate anything perfect because nothing's perfect. But maybe a 9.5 would be like one of my favorite shows ever. Like I don't know, Cowboy Bebop 10 for me, but
There.
a 1. I don't. Who continues watching ones? I don't know.
I did, and I have it, and I can't wait to share
mainstream.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe keep it mainstream and like people like some of the newer stuff like Demon Slayer. Would that be kind of 10 for you, or where would you rate?
Yeah, I don't think you got to keep it newer because I don't know if any of the newer stuff would be a 10 though, because then that's not true to how Eli feels.
Okay, Demon Slayer 9. I'll give that a 9.
There you go.
Okay.
Wholehearted.
So I meant for like a good comparison, like say some people who haven't watched Cowboy Bebop or some of the older may not have seen.
That's true.
Keaton,
what do you think?
All right. I share some similar thoughts to Eli, and again, I should have refreshed before I did this, but I do enjoy a lot of the same aspects and typically I fall to not like these type of shows, which is probably why I like it a little bit more than the average person does, or why I can look past some of my previous things that I see faults in other shows. I enjoy in this show to a degree. When I tell you my 1, it's going to be a little surprising, but my only concern with this show is, as much as it's progressed and it's action packed and all that in 12 episodes, is like, where are we going from here? So like Eli, I didn't even think about it from Eli's standpoint, but like a prequel, this being a prequel, like a Vinland Saga, season, that would be pretty cool, right? But obviously it depends on how they execute season 2, but I think my concern with any new gen in anime, just in general, is like, if we're progressing that fast, and I understand why we do that, because now as a society, if you don't, then your show is not going to get watched. But I just want to see where it progresses from here. I still love it and enjoyed every second of it because I'm a sucker for action and good animation like everyone else is. But just need to see where the plot goes. I'm a pretty plot heavy person, so. I would rate it an 8 so far. I enjoyed the hell out of it every single week. My 10 for me is like an Attack on Titan. My 1 is a Sword Art Online.
What? What? Why you just come for Sword Art Online like that?
It was just kind of weird. And I typically, that's what I was saying, like some of the faults I look at in previous animes, like I don't like video game animes, and Sword Art Online maybe has made me a little bit too harsh on that, but I've enjoyed this one. But I enjoy like the leveling up and the system of solo leveling more than I like the Sword Art Online like system, I guess. And Sword Art Online just kind of goes downhill.
Yeah, I was gonna say after season 1, it's just kind of
I'm struggling through season 2 right now. I did start watching it though.
Joe, where's your head at?
I would say I really liked the video game aspect of it, like him having the kind of the heads up display kind of thing that only he could see. As far as the like how powerful he became, I still feel like they did a good job with that, because like the ranks that they are, like he's still technically like low rank right now. Like he's not the best of the best, and he's went through a lot of stuff so far. He's trained like done the daily challenge every day, beat different, like just pretty much constantly training with the raids that he's done, that kind of stuff. But he's still nowhere near like A or S tier level heroes or whatever. He's still C and D rank. So I don't think they leveled him up too fast. I am interested to see like with some of the stuff that he's doing now, like how much stronger can he get? Like what does that even look like? Like what does an S tier person look like? So that makes me curious. Really love the artwork and the visual of the fighting scene and stuff like that. And like when he's in that that first area where right before he gets the level up powers and stuff, and he just everybody's getting destroyed. It's just like you're like, oh god, like his leg just got ripped off, and he's like, so I feel like that kept you on the edge of the seat. I think Elijah had it on the nail on the head there with the character development. Like, it really wasn't a lot of character development because it really just focused on him, and he, I mean, from a character standpoint, didn't really develop other than skill wise and like just he got stronger and faster, that kind of stuff. But his character as a whole didn't really change very much, and no one really did, because it was all focused on how he got to where he was. So yeah, I did like the world aspect of it there, where they traveled into dungeons and stuff like that. But rating scale, I'd say 8 out of 10. A 1 for me is probably Goblin Slayer, just where it's just too over the top, just nonsense, right? Like and then I'm trying to think of a 10 probably Demon Slayer.
So, sorry, Joe. Just because I kind of thought of it when you're talking about it, and to add on, because some of the specifics that you're talking about is like the runes and all that, and like I enjoyed all that. That's so cool, and I think because I'm sure we all play video games and same type, it's cool to collect that stuff and kind of live through it in a show as well. I think that, like I mentioned, some of my concern with as we move forward is like, bro, I'm going to stop caring about you just getting a rune and like activating it. Like how much character progression are you going to be able to implement if your character progression is based off of you finding certain items, instantly eating them or whatever you got to do, and then you're instantly got this power, right? So like, where do we go from here? Season 1, I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I'm concerned about the future. And again, I haven't read the manga, whatever you want to call it, moving forward. But,
yeah, and also like, who can off the top of their head even say, like, who can remember why is this guy doing this stuff? What's the main character's end goal?
To make money to get his mom better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's not to make money. It's to get strong, to unlock the key, to beat the Hell Castle, to cure his mom. It doesn't focus on that at all, though. I think part of my issue with the show a little bit is just like, I'm already seeing that final fight scene show up in every best anime fights of all time lists. I'm like, really? Because like, okay, the animation was great, sure, but like, this was a random like NPC character. Essentially, he's just fighting. There's no story. There's no nothing here, and we're like, oh my god tier. Like, well, let's slow our roll a little bit.
I think that's I think that's a product of like new gen like
true
society or anime community in general now is like, the animation's gotten so dope and so crazy recently and over the years that like as soon as like a cool fight gets put on, it looks cool. It's like best fight of all time. And it's like, I mean, yeah, if you just took a 10-year-old, set them down, they never watched any shows ever and saw it, maybe. But anyways, my bad, Joe.
I was like, why does he have to come for the artwork like that? Like, what if it was one of the best fights of all time? But Like you gotta think about it though. Like that's the fighting they're putting into like just some random, not even the end game. Like so, imagine the setup that they're doing for the end game. Like
Well, it was still the end of the
have to be-
season. They still
Yeah.
put work into it, right? Like it might not be the main boss, but it was the end of the season. They put in work. Like that is probably like their top tier animation fights. Like they're gonna try to replicate that and do it again next season, and then do it again the next season. Like I mean, they will change the abilities and stuff like that, but from an animation standpoint, like that is probably like what they will do each season.
Yeah, and I mean, even for me, I kind of hope that the action sequences get a little more frequent in the next season. But the fact that like they went all out for this end of season like rando NPC, it kind of builds on that idea I have of like, oh, this feels like more of just leading up, like building the story for the real story. Like this knight character that he captured essentially is clearly going to be super relevant, and he's very significant. But we don't get into that at all. The season ends, and now basically you've just had this speed run, almost like a half season montage of the main character unlocking his master class of whatever the hell he wound up with, master undead warlock badass whatever.
Yeah.
And this feels like the beginning to me. So I don't know. But that first episode definitely should have hooked everyone. Anyone who who has enjoys the drama of a show.
Yeah.
Well, Big Nate Daddy.
Okay, I've tried to keep my opinions to myself. I've been waiting for this moment. Okay.
We all
All right. Okay. So I got a few thoughts. I got a couple. So like I said, the first episode is great. You watch the first episode, you're fucking in, boy. Like it is good. There is absolutely zero character development other than, like you said, I need to get strong. It is what it is. There is not a lot of story. It is all like, I must get strong in order to do X, which a lot of anime, from my understanding, does. It's a very common theme is I got to get strong. I got to get strong. This is why I'm getting strong. But the only character development that is done in the whole show is Sun. He goes from the weakest person in the whole show, right? The weakest hero, to like he's getting stronger, but his personality and everything changes, and he kind of becomes like a cocky douche, in my opinion. Like I don't love his character progression. I wish he would have been a little more humble. Would have because like Joe, he's still just like he's not an A, he's not an S, but he's out here like talking mad shit and I'm just like, dude, like what happened to the kid from the first dungeon, right? Like I get that you're a little stronger, I get all these things, but like when he's at the cafe with the one person and he like zips and like cuts in, I'm just like, dude, come on, what the fuck is this? And I agree with you, like it has to be setting up for something. I'm excited for season 2 because like it feels like this whole season was setting up, and I hope there's probably less fights and more plot, more character, because as it is now, I feel like I'm just watching a fighting anime for the sake of fighting, right? Which is not my favorite thing. Like I like animes that have fighting, but fighting for a purpose and a reason and stuff like that. And this one, like the whole mom thing, like you said, like I gotta beat this freaking dungeon, this hell dungeon to save my mom. I don't know. And like they just don't focus on like put him in the fucking hospital with his mom every time he leaves the dungeon. Like make me care about his mom. Yeah. Give me flashbacks about when he was a kid and she was cooking fucking whatever for him, you know, and like holding him, or like kids are beating him up and she saved. Make me care for her.
Right.
And they don't do any of you just see a lady in the hospital. That's it. And then he takes really his sister takes care of him, right? And he does a little bit of what he can, but she's like setting out food, hey, be safe, like all these things. Even her, you just don't care. Like they could remove her from the show and you would just be like, he has a sister? Oh, I had no idea. So go ahead.
Well, sorry to interrupt you. And I just thought of this, but I think where they may miss out is a lot of the good, not just anime, but shows in general, is like when they show the flashback type stuff, it's while they're progressing to getting good, you know, while they're learning to be good at stuff. And in 12 episodes, we went from the weakest of all in the whole world to, you know, top 3 tiers of the whole fighters. and we don't know anything about him. So like it's gonna be you're gonna waste a little bit of that character development because I'm sure they're gonna circle back to that at some point. But once they've already gained so much strength and become more of an adult character to a degree, like you lose some of the effect of if you kind of implemented that while he is building up his strength.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, they had a whole episode that they wasted where
Yeah.
they could have done this. Like, there was 12 episodes, and they had a filler episode of just backtrack. I was a little upset on that. I'm not
I think
gonna
everybody was. Like, there's a lot of articles and stuff out there talking about how they do that. That was a no-no. They should have made it an 11 episode.
Was it the 7.5 or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I know our attention spans are bad these days, but come on now. I haven't forgotten it all yet.
Yeah. But my biggest issue with the whole show is not even that. My biggest issue, and it's more assumption than anything, I love RPGs. I love the game system in the world. I think it's really cool. I love that aspect of the show. I am worried about scalability. Right? Like, how does this scale? Because he's going to get more powerful, which means he's going to go into more powerful dungeons, but it's going to just feel stale with just new abilities versus like actually, and then it'll get to where like he just outpaces everyone other than other heroes. And then which they've already set up for, you know, the inter-hero fighting nonsense. But like, even in an RPG, you start to out-level everything. It all just gets easy, right? So like, I'm worried about the scalability of the show, especially since I have no emotions to the main character, or to anything that he's doing, his purpose, his reasoning. At some point, it's just going to be like diluted One Punch Man. Like, you know, he's going to win. It might just take 2 punches versus 1.
No, he can just throw a rock and it's over. So
Yeah.
I am worried, but like if I think of this season as the montage, I'm hoping that this simultaneous, you know, the rest of the world story that they've been developing comes into play, and this has all just been to show you how strong he gets, and now he goes out into the world and things actually start happening. That's my hope, because the other alternative is we go into Dragon Ball land and we could blow up planets 504 episodes ago, and what are we even doing here anymore? So
yeah. And we haven't seen him train to get better or anything about him, period.
I mean, he has to do push-ups, run miles. He has to do sit-ups, right? Like, he has his daily quest that he has to do, which is literally just push-ups, sit-ups, and run.
So he's Saitama, for real.
Yeah. And then he like was doing the dungeons like repeatedly, right? Like paying the team so he could do dungeon by himself. So he's technically trained. Like, that's how he's got to where he is. It didn't really show us though. It was like, yeah, I've done 37 dungeons a day for however long, and now people are mad because I'm taking all the dungeons. And I was like, oh, okay.
Also, do we know how long this anime is going to be? If he goes from like F to B in one season, 12 episodes, that's how fast they skipped, or whatever their bottom rank is, D or whatever, right? All the way to B. Like, season 2 has to be the end of it, right?
I wish I could say yes, but modern trends would indicate no.
It's going to be like Vinland Saga season 2.
He's going to go from B to like B plus maybe.
He's going to demand world peace.
Yeah, I'm not going to fight at all.
But Nate, what was your ranking of it, and what was your like other two?
Okay, so here's my criteria thing. Like, the animation was beautiful. The artwork was stunning, which these days, like, if you're putting out an anime and your animation is not like top of the line, like, it struggles. The animation was beautiful. The story was trash. I thought the world and everything was cool. I liked the premise of the show. I did like the leveling and all that stuff. Like, I really loved it. I was like, this is really cool, you know? But overall, I'd probably give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7. And I think it's animation carried. Like, you kind of pull back some of the animation and you just throw it out there as a willy-nilly show. I don't know how much I would love it, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah. So what's a 1 and what's a 10?
So 1 is, I don't even know if it's technically an anime, but Ragnarok on Netflix is fucking terrible. And I downloaded it because I was like, you know, like, it's fighting for fighting. I can kill some time. And I got on the plane, and the first episode was fucking terrible. It's all I had downloaded. So your boy watched it.
I gave up halfway through.
Yeah, it's bad. It is bad.
It's
But
really bad.
legit, all I had downloaded. So I was like, well, I can sit here and do nothing, or I can watch this terrible show. So I decided to watch the terrible show for whatever I think it was like a 6-hour flight or something. So it was bad. And then 10 is like Attack on Titan.
Nice.
But overall, I am excited to see what they do with it. And I hope they find a way to slow it down
Right.
and build some kind of connection to the characters. Because for me, if you look at all the top anime that I have, they all do a really good job with the emotional attachment to the characters and to the villains, right? This, like, because it's dungeons and they change every time, like, A, you have no connection to the characters, so how would you build any connection to the villains? But it's literally a different monster of the week, right? It's like supernatural out here, monster of the week kind of show.
Yeah, you don't have a friend you're competing against, or no rival. I mean,
no Rock Lee to push you, man. Every anime needs a good Rock Lee to push you.
That's true.
He kind of has that low-level healer that he kind of cares about, but they don't really get into that either. We know she has anxiety now, but other than that, we don't know anything about her either. So.
She's literally had more character development than he has, I think.
Yeah,
and I care about her more too, probably.
I mean, right now it's just this year's, Demon Slayer, My Hero.
This week, actually, that's not even just this year. That's this week.
No. I meant like Solo Leveling is the equivalent of those as of right now, right? Something may come out later, but yeah, you're right. New shows are coming out. I don't know if that wasn't me trying to segue into that, but if that's where y'all are wanting to go.
I thought that's what you're doing. I was good with it. The last thing with Solo Leveling is the first episode was the best episode.
Yeah.
Like the first episode, I was just like,
it got you hooked.
It's fucking amazing. And then they just get away from it. Like the dude, he doesn't really struggle. He doesn't like really get his ass whooped. Like he takes a couple knocks here and there, but at no point am I like worried for the dude. Right. Or in that first episode, I'm like,
oh, he's dead.
In my mind, I was like, maybe we haven't met the main character yet, right? Like I was like, maybe like someone's gonna walk in and they're like, bam, transition. This is the main guy, the MC, right? Nah.
Yeah, and think about that in terms of the first episode versus the rest of the show too. Like the first episode, you didn't know who was going to survive, not even the seemingly main character. The edge of your seat, like, oh my gosh, this is intense. And then the rest of the show is basically just one character who has infinite plot armor. You're like, well, why? What happened? Like,
full heal, Eli. I'm getting my ass beat. Full heal.
Exactly.
I'm back. Oh, I got my ass beat again.
The whole
full heal,
point of the
effers.
show is just him literally soloing and enduring everything. Gets his arms ripped off or whatever. It doesn't matter. Plot armor. Yeah. So like, well, you've just taken me. I'm sitting all the way back in my seat now. No more edge of my seat. Like, they destroyed the vibe.
Yeah, good fights. I mean, at the end of the day, good quality fights. Like if you like an anime that has action, it's a good anime. If you're looking for plot and story and character development, I would not recommend it.
Yeah, although it was a little disappointing when like this was the show that came out, but maybe that's just because timing. Like, were people starved for a good action show now?
JJK just ended like a couple months before that, so I think people were wanting that like they had that carryover high from JJK. And they just wanted something. And I think Solo Leveling filled that because Jujutsu Kaisen has amazing animation, great character, pretty good character development and stuff like that. And then the fighting is top notch. It's amazing. And then the fighting on this was good. So I think people were just riding a high, and this got a lot of that hype off of that.
Yeah.
Well, also too, Solo Leveling is like before the show is even announced. If you look up like manga, top manga, whatever, I mean, Solo Leveling is out there, right? So it's a highly revered manga, and so that's where a lot of these build up the hype is like these that haven't been adapted that are highly revered that get adapted. It's like, okay, well, this is already deemed the anime of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what like Chainsaw Man.
Man.
You watch Chainsaw Man, I mean, it's good, right? But like I'm sure it's more stuff's going to happen, but like that was the anime, and like. You can go. I was in a store yesterday, and there's Chainsaw Man accessories still, and it's just. I mean, it wasn't that good. The only reason it was that good is because the hype. That's just kind of the trend that it's been. They need to redo Berserk, by the way.
Again?
Like remaster it?
I've never seen the original.
There's like 3 animated versions already.
Well, I need to make a good one.
We need a 4th.
They did it 4 times the charm.
So solo leveling was great. Great way to kick off the year, great way to kind of segue into more of the stuff for the year. This week alone, if you go from Sunday to Sunday, we have My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer releasing this Sunday, right? So My Hero came out last Sunday. Demon Slayer comes out this Sunday, I believe. Let's check it.
I think so.
I'll roll with that.
I think one was Saturday, one was Sunday, something like that. But
Oh yeah, May 12th. Demon Slayer Season 4 will premiere on May 12th, 2024. New episodes will be available on Crunchyroll in US and UK. So, how excited are we about My Hero and Demon Slayer? And y'all, I love My Hero. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's got its issues, but I'm hyped for Season 7.
the first episode was great. Like they kicked it right off.
I guess I'll start. So for My Hero, in our first episode, I am pretty, I don't want to say passionate about this, but I hate how much like fan service just discredits an anime, how quickly it discredits an anime. And don't get me wrong, there was like a season that in the middle, I forgot what season, which was like kind of dull. But bro, it's like My Hero was, one of the big time shows, and then it got all this fan service, and then it becomes really popular to start hating on it. And then what happens is people think they're so cool and it's funny to hate on it, but like it is still a very quality show. And so it's lost some of that hype. But for me, like just watching that first episode, I'm excited. Last season of My Hero, I was like every episode pumped to watch, like every Sunday. I love when it comes out. And to be honest with you, by the end of the last season of Demon Slayer, I cannot say the same. So I, right now, am more excited about the new season of My Hero than I am the new season of Demon Slayer.
Eli, what are your thoughts? Do you watch episode 1?
Oh, I haven't watched episode 1 yet. I normally let them rack up a couple because like when I watch, I want to watch. But I'm also like simulcasting several shows weekly right now, and it's too much already. But yeah, I think the pacing of My Hero, like Keaton, I totally agree with you on like probably being more excited for new episodes of My Hero versus Demon Slayer just based on the last season. But like, I feel like My Hero Academia fell off pretty bad because there was like some massive gap in between like a slow season and then the next season. And I sat it down for a while even. Little did I know the next season was just going to be like gung-ho, like full blast, nonstop action and, decent character development and everything. It was like neck break speeds to me. But what I had just watched seemed pretty slow, so I was slow on the take for that. Now we're leaving off on a high point with My Hero. Demon Slayer, that last season I thought was garbage. I know that it's just a hallway and it's just getting us to where we need to be for plot development, but I was very frustrated with it. And so yeah, I am personally excited for the new Demon Slayer because I know this will probably be when it starts to get good. We're moving into like one of the final arcs here, and everything, all the ducks are in a row. Everything's lined up for us to sort of start capping off the show or really seeing where it's been going. A lot of questions have been lingering for a long time, but with My Hero, yeah, I do think that it's a quality show. I think maybe the animation style turned some people off, but maybe, I guess that makes it easier to like make fun of because it's a little more like cartoony looking. But you can't do that with anime, honestly, because it might be a different style, but the action sequences are still phenomenal.
Yeah.
So,
and honestly, I feel like it's like a breath of fresh air because you're starting to get a lot of similar style animations too. For me, like the comic book feel, like when I watched that first episode, I remembered how much I love. It's so simple, but like their intermissions when they show characters and like their abilities and their names for a show that has so much like heroes and villains and all that to it. that is a small, simple aspect that I appreciate because I can forget names, some abilities, and all that. But anyways, I kind of like the comic book style. But anyways,
Joe, what are your thoughts?
Definitely more excited for My Hero. And I've already seen the first episode of Demon Slayers because I went to the in theaters like showing of it, and
Right.
like having seen them both, I will say that, I mean, in my opinion, the first episode of My Hero beats Demon Slayer.
Oh gosh.
So, but that's having seen both, and that's just my opinion. We like different things, Nate. But yeah, but I am excited to see where Demon Slayer goes. It's like the setup that they did last season, like with Nezuko, ending the show saying like, "Thank goodness," that kind of stuff, and the Michael Jackson dude's about to come for them all. Like, I'm excited to see the battle between them. That's for sure. I think they have to make it good. It's going to be good just because it's the top tier villains now. Like, we get to see the backstories, and they usually do a really good job of like making you feel for the villains, and I think I'm interested to see how they do it with the main people.
Okay. Well, my thoughts. So last season of Demon Slayer, it was okay at best. Like, it was not my favorite. I don't think it really moved the needle for them at all. Like Eli said, it gets us to where we need to be. I haven't read the manga or anything, so I can't speak to that. I know like it was okay to watch, but was it anything compared to like season 2 with Tang and the flashy Hashira and stuff like that? No, it was nowhere close to that quality wise at all. My Hero, I think what you're talking about, Keith, they're like the Nickelback of anime, right? It's just cool to hate on it for no reason because it's quality. And if I put on Nickelback right now, I bet we could all sing it, right? Like it doesn't matter. I bet people that like you can go to Reddit and find people that trash it. I bet you go look at their Crunchyroll, they've watched every fucking episode of it, and it's stuff like that. It's like the Nickelback of anime. I don't understand it. I also don't understand the Nickelback hate, but like, I think it's really good. I do wish there was like more loss on My Hero and things like that. But season 6 was good of My Hero. I really enjoyed season 6. I think season 5 was Avenger Deku, right? Or was that season 6? Either way, I think 5 and 6 were good. I think 4 was the lull. I think 4 was pretty boring and terrible. But in season 7 is supposed to be the last season of My Hero. So I'm hoping they go out with a fucking bang because I have really enjoyed My Hero up to this point. If you look, the very first... Wait, we were there. Shit, hold on. I can't do it. Anyways.
Just go get it.
No, okay, let me go get it.
Nate's having me hold some of my figures for him too, specifically the Deku. Yes,
was the very first anime statue that I bought, and I bought it in Barcelona, and he speaks Spanish and all that. So like, I love My Hero. So,
oh yeah,
that's all. Lemillion is still the best character.
Yeah.
Also did not realize how dusty that was. I don't know if it came through on the camera or not, but I think it needs some love. Anyways, so yeah, like, I'm a big fan of My Hero, so I'm glad that season 6 was good. I got high hopes for season 7. I hope it absolutely crushes it. And Demon Slayer is like, even if the story's not great, it's amazing to watch. I will say Demon Slayer for me is really hard to watch in sub. I have to watch Demon Slayer dubbed just because like it's so pretty. I want to be able to watch it and take it all in without having to read.
Yeah. Boarheads are less annoying and sub though.
I've never watched the dub, so I don't know. But
Inosuke is amazing in all things.
So I didn't know that this was the last season of My Hero. When I was looking up Upcoming Anime, and I saw that I guess are they doing a movie or something? I saw. So, and it says in August they're having My Hero Academia You're Next. I don't even know what that is. I'll look it up while we continue to talk. But man, I have a friend that reads manga, and he loves My Hero is. He thinks it's probably his favorite manga that he reads. Like he loves that crap, and he doesn't really mention Demon. He reads Demon Slayer. He doesn't mention it. He reads a lot of manga, and he doesn't. I mean, he just raves about. He raves about Boruto a lot too, actually.
Really, Boruto is supposed to be getting good.
Yeah, I've heard it's supposed to be getting really good after the time skip.
After the time skip, yeah.
Time skip. I've thought so. I miss Naruto, like the world of Naruto and all of that. So I've wanted to start like Boruto, but I've heard nothing but terrible, awful things about it, and I don't want to tarnish like what I remember of Naruto.
That's the natural progression of Naruto. Is like by the end of it, you're like, holy crap, plot holes. This I'm tired of watching. I watched so much, and then like a few months later, you're like, oh shit, that was a good ass show.
Yeah, I mean, legit, it was like a roller coaster. I was like, dude, I fucking love this show. And I was like, I'm so ready for it to be over. Like, it's way too long. The last Great War arc, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, we're bringing in people who've never made an impact on this show. Now we have fucking flying aliens. We have all these things. Like, can it just be over? You know? And then like I think it was probably like 2 months, 3 months afterwards, I was just scrolling TikTok, and it was like a Kakashi moment, and I was like, oh, I miss Naruto. And now I watch every fucking one of them. And if you ever catch me with the Rock Lee, like if I'm scrolling and that Rock Lee Gara fight comes on, I'll stop. I don't care. Like, we're watching it, the whole thing.
Dude, it's just one of those iconic moments when he holds the weights and just drops them.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those iconic moments in anime.
Well, since this My Hero Academia, which I figured it was a movie, but it is a movie. So I wonder if that's how they're going to wrap it up, which honestly, I would love that. That would be awesome. Like you and your friends just go to the theater and watch the ending of My Hero.
Bro, I will come to you to go watch it together.
Yeah. We'll all have to meet in a central area.
I'm fine with that too.
Well, they've had what, like 3 movies for My Hero, I think.
I haven't seen any of the movies.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the movies.
No, they're not bad. The first one was pretty good, I think. A little cheesy. You'll walk away with some questions, but you just have to take them as like these are just standalone little enjoyment things. No plot here. I think they revolve. At least 1 or 2 of them revolves around like All Might's backstory and stuff. So
I would watch that.
Nothing like too incredible revelation or anything, whatever. But just to build some plot. They
have canon there.
Nah.
Like, I'll get stuff in my head mixed up if I start watching movies while the show's still going, and I'm like, wait, didn't he do this? It's like, no, it's a movie. It's not real.
Yeah, the villains are kind of cheesy. But...
Something else I was looking at that was on the upcoming anime. Eli, you kind of mentioned it with the Korean style. I think it's called webtoons, right? That's what it's called. Webtoons is their anime.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
So a new season of Tower of God is coming out within the next month. I don't know.
That's so old now.
Do what?
That's so old now.
I know, but I was curious to hear your thoughts on it, Eli. Did you watch it?
Yeah, it's actually for no good reason, but it's my avatar in my Crunchyroll account from Tower of God. I did watch it. I don't it was intriguing enough. It was very similar levels of frustration as like watching Neon Genesis to me. I was like, why is this main character so stupid? But it was intriguing. I enjoyed watching it. I think it was only like 12 or 13 episodes. So like I would definitely watch another season, but oh my God, season 1 came out like, I don't know, like 6-7 years ago. I feel like at this point.
It did. It was like, I think it was the first webtoons that really hit the mainstream. But I asked you that because I was like, would you suggest Nate and Joe to watch it now that they have a little bit of experience with anime?
I would wait until season 2 comes out to see if it's going to be any good, honestly. Because watching season 1 was just frustrating. It was a little frustrating to watch, even though I thought it was a good show. And then the ending was just like, okay, well, where's season 2? So Yeah,
it's just kind of all over the place. I really think that y'all would like it. I think Nate would like it. I think you'd obviously find plot holes in it, but like the premise of it and the idea of it is super interesting and extremely unique. But yeah, let me and Eli watch season 2 before we suggest it. But
yeah, it was cool world building, unique, and I like that the characters were definitely not one dimensional, and there are a lot of characters, but that made for some frustrating moments sometimes. But yeah, it's pretty good.
sorry to derail the combo, but
I
Is
mean,
anyone excited for the Dragon Ball? Is it Daima? That's how you say it. That's coming out.
Don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of Dragon Ball. So
that's your loss, sir.
Yeah, that's your loss, sir. Yeah.
I mean,
You don't have to remind us that you had an awful childhood. It's fine.
I do know. I don't know if anyone has watched these shows. Well, one of them at least. In Japan, when I was there, most recently, they were advertising the new season of Haikyuu. So super excited about that. And Nate, I'm very sad to hear you're watching shows as a couple right now, and one that's not Haikyuu. I'm just saying.
Hey,
my
Eli,
wife is listening to the podcast.
No, hold on. Let me let you in on a little insider
What's that?
secret I learned today, Eli. Not only is this guy watching, Fallout and other shows with his wife after he started Haikyuu,
Keith, I thought we were boys. Don't do what you're about to do.
he's also currently watching The Circle.
You got to have context to The Circle, okay? We watch The Circle when we're doing nothing else. Like my wife and I both play Summoner's War on our phone, okay? Go check it out. It's a blast. It's a fun game. But in the World Arena, it's a real-time arena where you can battle other people. There's 2v2. So my wife and I, we were battling other people with The Circle in the background. Okay, so it's not like something you have to sit there and pay attention to. You just have it in the background, where Haikyuu is freaking sub. So like we have to like sit and focus and watch it. Although we did really enjoy it when we watched it, and we want to get back to it. But right now, our focus show is Fallout. There's only 8 episodes, and it's taken us a month to get through that. I don't want to point fingers. My freaking wife, it's not Joe, it's past Joe. Joe, you're beautiful, but I couldn't do it. So my wife is the reason I've not made it through Fallout yet. So I'm avoiding spoilers like the fucking plague, and she's over there just willy-nilly chilling. Like, I got plans this weekend. I got to go to bed early. All these things to shut down my TV watching. It's her fault.
Yeah.
But I don't want to point fingers.
You don't. No one's to blame, but Steph is to blame.
Yeah, 100% Steph's fault, but we could equally share responsibility. That's fine.
Another one I saw was
Joe. What are you watching right now?
Man, I just finished Fallout, so that was the most recent thing.
What are you watching now, bro? Like, come on, you gotta have the next show lined up.
I don't have one. I guess it's going to be One Punch Man, since Nate threw that out there. And
One Punch Man is
that,
good.
I think one of the best shows.
I think I enjoyed season 2. I thought season 2 is just as good as season 1. I would watch a whole show about Garu. Like, if they just took Garu out of One Punch Man and made a show about him, I would watch it. I think that is super cool. His fights were freaking awesome. Like, I loved both seasons. I thought season 1 and season 2 were great. And I will tell you, I went into it with not a lot of high hopes, because I was like, how exciting can somebody, it's just one punch, like, boop, I win, boop. They do it so well.
Yeah.
So well from start to finish. And I cannot wait for season 3. I don't know if y'all saw that season 3 has been confirmed and all that stuff. I don't know when it's supposed to release. Hopefully sometime soon.
Come out middle of this year.
Yeah.
Come out soon.
Yeah. So like, I'm excited for it because they do it. Like, you want to talk about like overpowered characters that can just like ruin shows because you're like, oh, this is boring. Dude, not a one time did I think that at all. I loved every second of all of it.
Yeah.
It's pure satire, but like just the most well done satire ever.
Yeah, it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, the story's decent. It's not like awful. It's not just like satire for, you know, laughs. Like there's actual things to like follow along with. Not like there's spots in the story where like the fuck just happened, you know. But like I won't spoil anything because of Joe. But like Keaton, we talked about it earlier today. Like that scene is amazing. Eli, the market when the one person walks up and he's just like whoop, you know, when he's buying the headpiece.
Oh, season 2.
Yeah, like I thought that was great.
I don't think Eli likes season 2.
I don't think so. It
That's
doesn't
not
feel
my
that
favorite, but there's a reason for it.
Well, let's hear the reason. What was the reason? Unless it's spoiler related, then leave it.
No. So season 1 was incredible. I thought it was pretty much like a perfect show in season 1 for me. Like, you know, the animation quality of the fights and everything was still will be in every top list of fights ever. And you can take your pick of which one you want to go with there. But then in season 2, they were like intentionally avoiding the actual fight scenes in a lot of occasions, where it's like, oh, big bad guys coming up or something, and we don't see a fight happen. We just see like the end result. I didn't think the comedy hit quite as well in season 2 either for me. But the reason for all that is because in season 1, they had this like miracle crew together, basically. Like it wasn't, I don't think it was a super high budget thing, but just by chance, all the right studios got involved with season 1. So they had the top tier animation guys, they had the writers, and everyone was directors was some of the best, and they just all decided to collaborate on this. They lost all of those people before the start of season 2. The animation studio was gone, so they couldn't do as many fight scenes. It wasn't as crazy. I think they lost some of the writers. Like the whole thing just fell apart. The studio like literally went out of business, and so it took a while for season 2 to come around, and they couldn't do the same level of the same things. And I didn't know that until I was watching it, and I was like, "What happened here?" And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that does make sense." So they did a good job, regardless. The show is still good. But yeah, it left something to be desired for me in season 2 still.
So I think the comedy thing is you just get more used to it. I think season 1, like a lot of it, you're just not used to. So like it makes you laugh, it makes you chuckle because you're like, oh, this is different. But now it's the standard, it's the expectation, and there's really no way to push that bar any further than what they've already pushed it with a lot of the satire that they lean on. So I don't know how much humor like you're gonna die from in season 3 either. Whereas season 1 is kind of the shock value. You're like, oh shit, didn't expect that. That's hilarious. But now, you know, he's just like, and you're just like, I haven't seen it. You know.
I appreciate that the humor isn't just sex jokes or just stupid sexual content, which is like 90% of anime comedy.
Like Joe, earmuffs. Dude, so season 2, I like laughed out loud when fuck, Joe, damn you.
No, let's just push past it. Don't spoil
Okay.
it.
We'll talk about it next month. I'll have
Joe didn't spoil Goblin Slayer for us, so we can't spoil it.
No, thanks, Joe.
Pretty much all spoiled it.
Preach for that one. Okay, I won't spoil it for you, but like season 2, there's a part that I do want to talk about because like I like laughed out loud because I saw the humor in it, and like it was kind of like it wasn't overplayed, it wasn't like it was kind of subtle, but dude, like I actually like I died laughing about it. I thought it was amazing.
So Eli, this is probably geared completely towards you, but any idea if those the studio that did Mob Psycho and One Punch Man have anything else coming up soon? Because they did those two fantastic.
I don't know about that.
Because
Mob Psycho's done, right? Like, I mean, that's not coming back around.
Yeah, I believe it's done. I don't think it's coming back.
So they gotta be busy with something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's gotta be good to look up, but it's tough right now. It's probably partly my own fault, but I just get sucked into so many like waste of time shows. I'm just like trying to find something good, but I find myself just automatically not watching shows that have drama in them because I just don't have as much time to sit down and watch stuff anymore. So I go for the quick thrills, right? Like I go for the stupid isekais just because like there's some good action and some laughs. And yeah, I'm not I mean, you can't avoid the shows that hit really big that are good, popular for a reason. And I end up watching those, but I don't devote as much time as I should into researching like what the good shows are before they hit. I think.
Yeah.
So me and Nate talked about this the other day. Is like Nate was talking about he's kind of gotten to the part of his anime watching journey of like, he's not just going to watch a show just to watch a show, and I think I've kind of gotten to that point too. Like I'm sure it's part of a lot of people's like once you get on like start watching anime, it's like holy shit, I'm just watching anime after anime after anime. Live action doesn't even exist to me anymore, and then you just
I did that for a year. A whole year. I don't think I watched any live action.
No,
My wife probably wanted to murder me.
It's just this whole new form of media that you never experienced, and you just like get just indulge in it, and then
there's so much.
Yeah, and it is, and then like you're like, oh, I'm not watching live action, and then I found myself now probably similar to like what you guys are starting to do is like I kind of just am watching stuff. And I'll get halfway through it, and I don't really enjoy it that much. But I'm just like, well, I got to keep watching anime and stay up to date on my anime and make sure. And it is, I do enjoy it, but like I've gotten to the point where I've found myself just kind of watching it just to watch some stuff to a degree.
Yeah,
you experience that.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead, Eli. You can answer, then I'll jump in.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel like it's I'm like, I'll watch 12 episodes of a show just to get like a couple moments of like nostalgia factor, basically. Like, oh, that scene was good. It reminds me of this good show. But like, if you go through my Crunchyroll list, I'm looking at it right now of just like recent activity, and it's just horrendous. I just mindless. I'm simultaneously watching, like I don't know, 9 or 10 plus shows, and like,
holy crap!
I think probably 2 or 3 of them are really worth watching. I don't know. And like I said, I'm watching a lot of simulcasts right now. So like I have that dungeon show on Netflix. There's that time I got reincarnated as a slime, Mushoku Tensei, Konosuba. So yeah, I'm just like that's why I don't want to add another like weekly watch show right now. But yeah, I mean most of these are just for shits and giggles. Like I did like Mushoku Tensei. I thought that was a good show until last season. It's like, what the hell happened? That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Very surprisingly good show. It was one of the better shows I'd watched in a long time. Like, really? This super stupid random thing I started watching? But then even that has kind of fallen off. And it's just talking and talking and talking. Much like the first episode of the next season of Demon Slayer, Nate, just so you know.
Right.
But again, they're just setting a plot.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I like plot. I like story. So like that doesn't bother me. I also just don't want it to be like Naruto where it's like 46 episodes. There's flashbacks within flashbacks within flash. Like I want it to actually move the needle. I'm good with that. Like, I mean, part of the reason like I love like Game of Thrones and things like that is because like there is action, but like you could go multiple episodes with nothing happening but moving the story forward. I'm good with that. But when the action hits, it needs to fucking hit. And the story needs to have a purpose.
Yeah. There's some funny parts in the first episode of Demon Slayer too. Like it's definitely like a lot of setup and stuff like that. So it's the complete opposite of the first episode of My Hero for sure. But back to Keaton's question about feeling like watching anime just to watch it kind of thing. I felt like that through all of like the last season of Hunter x Hunter. like I was just like, I'm gonna finish this just to say that I finished
go down this, Joe. You should have done this.
I'm sorry. That's how I felt. That's how I felt. I was like, I gotta finish this because I started it and I need to finish it and say I have done it. But God, it got so bad, or to me, like. I mean, it wasn't necessarily like the worst show ever, but I was like, I did not want to watch it anymore. But I was like, but I gotta see this through.
I'm gonna jump in. Okay, this is gonna be a minute, so just bear with me. Hey, to go back to Keaton's question before I jump into Hunter x Hunter, which I'm really excited to talk about for a minute. So I think I figured out what I like.
My gosh,
Right?
it's not extended 30 minutes.
So I think when I first got into anime, I was watching everything that y'all suggested, and I was like, yeah, I fucking love it. This is awesome. This is awesome. But the more I watch, the more I understand what I like and what I prefer. You know, like I don't like fighting for fighting's sake, but I do like fighting, you know. So like I like Naruto and things like that, but I kind of like tournaments. So like for Hunter x Hunter, like I liked the tower tournament that they did and stuff. Like I thought it was cool. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But I think just the more I watch, the more I, you know, have an appreciation for certain things and a dislike for others. And I think, but also like if y'all are like, Nate, you should watch this Trigun, right? I'm going to go watch Trigun. I haven't started it yet. I'll probably start it tonight when I lay down. Steph will be like, I'm going to bed. I'll be like, guess I'm going to watch something else. And, you know, so is that on Crunchyroll, I guess? I haven't even
Yeah,
looked.
it is.
Okay, I'll find it on Crunchyroll.
And
Now,
the dub is worth it too.
Perfect. All right. Now, Hunter. Let's go into that for a second. I don't even know where to start. Gon in season 1 with the fishing pole is fucking awesome. Where does the fishing pole go?
He just puts it down and forgets it somewhere. I don't know.
He casts it 7,000 times. They make so much of an emphasis on him and this weapon, and he uses it with Hisoka to steal the badge. All these things. And then it just fucking goes away. I don't know why. Like, I was so excited to see how this dude learns to use this fishing pole, how they utilize it. It is such a unique weapon in anime. Like, it's so cool. And they're like, oh, look at this. Like, we're really going to grow with it. Like, look at him fucking practicing. Nah, fam, he uses his fists now, right? They took all the cool factor of the uniqueness and said, no, now he uses his fucking fist to hit things. The move in dub is called Rock Smash. How fucking boring is that? Anyways, or Smash Rock, whatever. Show me Rock. It's even worse.
Show me
Whatever
Rock.
it is. It's all fucking
Terrible.
stupid. Anyways, you want to talk about character development. You want to talk about plot. Kurapika is the best character on the whole show, and they just forget about him. You know, like they just like, oh, this cool story arc, but also no fucking more. Goodbye. Killua is really cool, and he's a side character. Why they focus on Gon, who has the least character development, who is the least cool hero of any anime I've ever seen, right? I don't know. I don't get it, right? And I know if this was to, for whatever reason, blow up, Hunter x Hunter fanboys would like murder me. They would like find me and be like, your opinion is stupid. Well, guess what? No, the fuck it's not. If you took Hunter x Hunter off of this and like recoded it as another anime, a lot of it would probably get dragged. I truly believe that. And like, let's talk about the end, the pedo fight. They built pedo up, the most ferocious nin, right? It's scary. The one dude fucking aged 60 years just from being close to the nin, right? And then Gon and Pedo, they go to fight, right? Like, and it's like 30 fucking seconds. Now, I get like spoiler alert. If you haven't watched Hunter x Hunter and you want to waste some time and go watch a very mid anime, then by all means. But I get that he sacrifices like his future as a, fighter and all that to defeat Pedo. But dude, like, he does it because she won't do what he says, right? Like the whole story is him doing what he wants because he wants to. I'm going to do this because I want to go see my dad. Keela was the only one that checks him throughout the whole show. Everything else is, I'm doing it because I want to. I'm doing it because I want to. And then he's like, you're going to bring Pedo back or Kite back to Pedo, right? And she's like, he's already dead. I can't. And then he's like, well, I'm pissed off and I'm going to fight you. He does all this. Bro, like, why not go out, like take that fight, make it like 3 or 4 episodes, and like have Gon get his ass beat and then finally be like, you know what, I need to do this to save the world versus because this is what I want, because you pissed me off. Be like, the world needs this and I'm willing. Like, there's so many other ways that it could have been done, and it just like Hunter x Hunter has some cool parts, but overall the show I just didn't think was that good. I mean, and it's way too fucking long. The Chimera Ant arc was so much filler and bullshit. Like the leader having fucking amnesia for like 4 episodes. Wow. Why does he have amnesia for 4 fucking episodes? I will say, caveat, the way he died, dude, right in the heart. I thought that was the best part of the show. It was very fitting. It was amazing. Other than that, I could have went the rest of my life, not watched an episode, and not given 2 shits.
Tells how you really feel, Nate.
Yeah. Bravo.
And I kept it to under 30 minutes.
Oh man. I do really like how they ended the Chimera Ant arc. The one thing I hated the most about that whole arc was just how much emphasis they put on that snot-nosed person. Just like not the character in general, but her snot. Like it, you didn't have to show me her snot that much. Like,
but I will say, I think that really sells who she is as a person, though. Like, you take all of that away, like you don't fully understand that, like, the king is like becoming more human because of, for all of her weaknesses, including that, she still has the mind. She's able to compete. She's able to challenge. She's able, you know, to think critically and like be strategic. And like, she is the one that, like, I mean, not really beats the king, but she is what kind of opens up the possibility of beating the king, in my opinion. Like, her character and the king's character were like 2 of the best of the show. And the way they end it together, dude, I thought was really good. Probably the best part of the whole show.
I mean, it definitely was. And I think that's why people hold the Chimera Ant arcs in such a high degree is based off of that whole ending, right? But to me, obviously, just for everyone's purpose, I share a lot of the same opinions as Nate did. I shared that well before Nate watched the show. I thought similar things. Yu Hakusho is way better. But I think in the same way of like, man, I really liked Hunter x Hunter when it started, and I forgot what the last arc before the Chimera Ant arc was, but I loved the tournament. Like, I remember the dodgeball scene. Like, I loved all of that stuff. And then
I liked Greed Island. I thought the concept of Greed Island was cool.
But I think that, like, I think the Chimera Ant arc suffers a lot of the same problems that the Great War arc of Naruto suffered.
Too long.
Is you get tired by the end of it. I should never, if Hunter x Hunter, and a lot of people love Hunter x Hunter, I think it's the best show of all time. I obviously don't share that opinion, but at no point should I ever say, holy shit, I'm ready for this show to end. And I think, so part of the Great War arc is like the reanimation, all that shit sucks and it gets old, but like at some point you care about the characters. And at no point besides the King, Killua, I don't even really care about Gon. I think that's where it suffers a lot from, is Gon's not a very good main protagonist.
I think he's just too dumb. Like, I hate to be mean, but like he just doesn't think. He's literally emotionally driven. He just does what he wants in the moment.
Yeah, and you just don't like child. There's no. I didn't care literally about any of the ants. Like, I thought that they were extremely boring and extremely dull. Not just design, and I don't want to knock them too much from the design just because of when the manga was written.
I thought the designs were kind of cool, like the half critter, half, and like the concept of the ants I thought was kind of neat too. Like, they ingest, they get part of that. Like, I mean, there's a lot of good things there, in my opinion.
I think my favorite one was the octopus guy.
Yeah,
but they also had like really, I guess you could see some character progression throughout some of them, but like they stayed pretty like at level as far as like my care towards them.
Yeah, like you don't really feel for any of them. You don't. I don't think you get connected to anybody throughout the whole show other than Kurapika. Kurapika is the only one that I really connected with because they share a lot of their backstory and like what happened to their people and why they're doing what they want, and like they are thoughtful in their actions. and then it just goes away.
Boom.
Yeah,
The
For
next
no
story
fucking-
arc is focused around him.
As it should be. It should have just been from the beginning.
The Golden family is pretty cool. Killua's family is cool. You do grow an appreciation for them. I do think that Killua was a great character, but yeah, I mean, I'll share obviously a lot of the same opinions as Nate. I just don't. I think part of the problem is it's so highly revered that I probably do the same thing. I'm a hypocrite as far as people hate on My Hero so much. Is like I can hate on Hunter x Hunter a little bit more than I should just because of people's like love for it. It makes me feel like I need to level that out somehow. It's not necessarily my job.
balance the scales. But I feel like it started out really well. Like I loved the like this whole passing the assessment, that kind of thing was really cool. Then I got into the tournament, which was awesome, and then Greed Autumn was super cool. But it's like it could have just ended after that, honestly. Like,
Also, the last season, just magically having the answer right there. You could have used that for anything.
yeah, it's
You
like,
just
oh
wait.
yeah, I got a sister who can fix this whole thing. It's fun.
Yeah. Or you like you can make wishes and things happen. I wish all the Chimera ants would die. I wish they would just go away. I wish they would choose to go to a different planet. I wish they would choose to be peaceful. So many fucking wishes that you can make. But no, you sit on that the whole time. And then you're like, oh yeah, look at this. What I magically have for this exact moment. That Gung needs it.
I don't know who was coming up with the ideas there. I mean, the writer definitely was not running those ideas past anyone else at that point. It's like, oh, so you're gonna have the main character basically sacrifice themselves, but the show keeps going. Oh yeah, now there's wishes. What? It's basically a genie, more or less.
That sounds like another show.
Yeah,
like Dragon Balls.
I think I didn't ever think that Hunter x Hunter was like one of the best shows ever. I didn't know that it was like revered that way, but I think it suffers the downfalls of a lot of longer shows, and some of them that end up really disappointing. And I think the biggest downfall for Hunter x Hunter to me was you had like entire seasons and arcs dedicated to like side characters and different parties, and there's all this like you're going way down one direction with the plot, and then that never became relevant in what existed in the show, and so I just wasted my time. These characters were interesting, and I would like to see them develop, and I want to know more about them. If you're going to introduce me to 150 different characters, which why on earth would you do that in the first place? But now you got to do something with it, and the show dragged on with a lot of unnecessary filler, and just also still failed to capitalize on developing those characters. But I've experienced that with a lot of shows too.
I kept waiting for Hisoka to be present in a part of the Chimera Ant arc. He is involved in way too much of the show to be completely fucking absent from the biggest, most important arc of the whole show. And Hisoka's kind of been like an anti-hero. Now I know he played a small part at the end. He made a decision and things like that, like to help Killua with his brother and all those things. But how the fuck do you build this dude up so much and then not have him as part of it somehow, some way? Like, I like the Spider Troop, and I think they're cool. I would have liked to have seen more of them. I would have liked to have fleshed out a lot more of their people. Like, dude, I just think all the writers and people were just so confused. There was no direction. The show was like, oh, this would be cool. Let's do this. Son of a bitch, I'm in. Hey, what if we did this? Son of a bitch, I'm in. It's literally what it felt like. Or they just a dartboard with ideas. Like, what's the next art we should do? That one. It just it didn't feel cohesive. It didn't. I don't know. And Gene is a terrible character, terrible father. Like, what is the point? And then also Leo. I can't like Leo. What's his actual name? The doctor wannabe.
The lawyer. Doctor.
whatever it is.
The one that ran for president. Or
He like
whatever.
stopped existing, basically.
Just take him out of the show. He's annoying. He does nothing. He serves no purpose other than punching Gene, which was
Yeah,
like
but
his
it's like-
shining moment of the whole. Just give that to a random person. It would have had the same thing, right? And just take his whiny, annoying ass out of the whole show.
The He's a Good Thing is a big miss in my opinion because like he's arguably the best character progression, especially outside of Kurapika that they had.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got some weird moments though.
I know. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. You think he's dude, when you first watching the show, you're like, this is a weird fucker.
Yeah, you're like, what is wrong with this
And then by
guy?
the end of it, you're like, all right, this guy's kind of cold. Like you start to grow an appreciation towards him, and then it's like,
There's some moments where he hits you, and I'm like, well, I'm uncomfortable now.
It's like, oh god, like, man. Well,
Go ahead, Joe.
I'll say, well, is there any other last minute things you want to talk about? Or you guys want to wrap it up? I feel like we veered off of our original topic, far left, but it was a good conversation. So
Yeah, I have a buddy that does a podcast for every episode of Hunter x Hunter. Joe, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I would still like to be a guest on your podcast if you want to bring me on. I don't know if you do, but if you do, this is my opinion, and I will share it with your listeners as well. Probably won't have the same appreciation, but I'm available.
Not at all.
Let me know.
Man, if you just went single episode, you could probably talk about single episodes. But then if you wanted to talk about whole seasons, that's a different.
Well, they're coming up to the end, so he talked to me about possibly bringing me in as like a guest, me and Joe as like a guest to talk about Hunter x Hunter, and towards the end and kind of wrapping it all up. And I was like, I don't know if you want that.
it's like,
what else does he watch? Didn't he watch something else and do a podcast about it?
Hakusho. Yeah. So he did Yu Hakusho first, and then now they're doing Hunter x Hunter, but he's almost towards the end of Hunter x Hunter, and I don't know what he's going to next.
Well, Yu Yu Hakusho's on Netflix right now as well.
if Eli liked Naruto, like we could totally do one just episode by episode of Naruto. I don't think Eli likes it that much.
We're all 60 years old.
Holy shit!
We would be set on episodes for like years. Like we would have like
We'd have to like do it like an episode a day to keep it to a 2
Right.
year. And that's skipping fillers.
Holy shit! No, you have damn 20 animals and 5 kids. How do you have time for that?
You would also have to go back and watch every episode just to like refresh, like per.
Yeah.
I'm out.
We could. I mean, I know we're still talking. We could do that for like new upcoming, like well anticipated shows.
like My Hero Academia.
Follow simultaneously. Yeah, I'm starting to think like coming back to our conversation a little bit about like how are we finding things or what are we liking these days? Like, we all have those shows that we know there's like 1,000 episodes of, and we're just like, I'm not touching that. And then every day that ticks by that you watch terrible shows, you're like, maybe I should.
Yeah.
But like, what is the breaking point? Am I going to start watching One Piece one day, or like, how's
Never.
is it worth it? There's plenty of people who would tell me it is, but my God,
So-
you're also talking about watching like a 20-year-old show or something, and so
Dude.
the quality is,
It is. Those I'm about 350 episodes in.
yeah,
It is tough.
yeah,
Dude, so I think about starting One Piece a lot because I want to. It is one of the more popular ones. Any statue store that you go into, there's Luffy's,
Yes.
there's everyone. I have a Luffy, right? And then on the other end, I have a guy that you can't see. He's wearing like bikini bottoms and has big pink punching gloves. I don't even know who the fuck it is, but he was on sale, so I bought him. But like, I do think about, and I have a buddy, I text him, and his favorite anime is One Piece. And he's like, Nate, you got to watch it, right? And like, I think about it, but also I think about 1,000 episodes. How many shows can I watch that would equal 1,000 episodes? Also, if I look at any of the long shows I watched, I've gotten so tired of them. By the time I got to the end, there was no appreciation. But the end for One Piece right now is the best part of One Piece, is my understanding. So I don't want to watch 600 episodes to start getting to the good stuff and not appreciate it.
So
I'm just gonna wait for the live action to continue.
The live action is good.
the live action was good. I was pleasantly surprised with that.
Yeah.
So there's a website called One Pace.
Yep.
If you want to get into that, I use it as like, I haven't watched it in a while, but I use it as like my, no pun intended, filler show. I was for a while, and so like whenever I'm in between shows or still deciding what I want to watch, like I'll watch a few episodes of it. Dude, it is tough to get behind, but I think what's important though, if you do decide to take that journey, that you need to understand that it is not like a shonen anime, a pure shonen anime where it's like this guy's battling to whatever and it's super fight based. While there are good fights, it is not a fight driven show, and it is more of an adventure show, a camaraderie show, how they travel to find the One Piece and become friends through that, and just grow as in that aspect. So even though there is fighting and it is more of a character and plot driven show to a degree.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, the 1,000 episodes is so
No,
good.
it is, and the thing is, and it can be redundant, like a lot like a Mandalorian type show. Like you're going to find the One Piece and you run into a problem or a bad guy, and then that's just part of your journey. Like that was just one little chapter in the book or one notch on the belt, and it's just kind of can be redundant in that way.
I've also heard the pacing of One Piece is fucking slower than a snail. Like a single fight can be 12 freaking episodes.
Yeah, that's just old anime though.
Yeah.
Like, that's just old anime.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just sat down and started watching One Piece and did not take a break, you would be done in 14 days.
Is that real?
Who can't commit to that? 24 hours for 14 days?
That makes it sound much more doable, actually.
Let's see, 24 times 14. That's only 336 hours, bro.
I mean, I just did 1,000 episodes by 20 minutes, which is the typical run length of an anime, really.
I think that's a show that you'll have to. Man, there's no way in hell you can. Like Eli's talking about a drama show, right? You want kind of a mindless, something that you can, watch while you're doing chores or whatever it may be. We all have those shows. I feel like for me personally, I have to do that with One Piece. I mean, there's no way you're sitting down and paying attention to 1,000 episodes.
Yeah, no. But the live action made me want to watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, same.
I want to know what's going on, and I want to watch the anime before I watch the live action anymore, right? Like I want to catch up and I want to get ahead of the live action, so I have more of an appreciation for the live action. But like I just don't know if I'm going to get to it because like I'm going to start. I also have been leaning much more towards like shorter shows. After Hunter x Hunter, I realized I'm just like so fucking tired of the long 6-season, 60 episode like. It's just, especially if I don't enjoy it, but I'm a completionist. If I start it, I'm going to finish it. The only anime I've not finished to date is Fire Force, and I have not watched season 2. So, like, if I start One Piece, like, and I actually give it a shot, and say I start enjoying it somewhat, and say I start hating it around episode 300, 400, right. I will force myself to finish the other 600 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, but we know just historically. Ain't gonna be gold the whole way through. So.
Dude, as a guy who has that exact same mentality, I've stopped One Piece.
Too intimidating, but it's not. I mean, like you said, Nate, I am disgusted with myself looking around. There's all this One Piece merch, all these cool characters. I've seen bits and pieces of the clips. I'm like, oh, I want to be a part of this world so bad, and still, I'm like. No, I can't do it. But there's a lot of shows like that, though. Not as popular, but, like I started watching Black Clover for no reason. I'm shocked at how far I got into it, too. And I'm like, wait, they've like nonstop released episodes. There's so many now. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know Gintama is a lot like that. But I will say Black Clover is one that I forced myself through. And around, no lie, it's like episode 96. That's when I got really good. Now, that is a commitment, but it does get really good.
Dude,
96 episodes before it gets good. God.
so Code Geass is one of my top 5 animes, right? I love Code Geass. I almost quit because I made it through 18 episodes before it just really fucking grabbed me. Like, I thought they were decent, but I was like, I could take it or leave it. Episode 18 is where it's like, I fucking love this show. I don't think I could go 92.
It's a lot.
Yeah, you could do that, or you could watch the entirety of Yu Yu Hakusho. So,
Yeah. But also, like, y'all keep me lined up with shows. Like, we got Trigun, we got Samurai. Yeah, so like I have shows. So even if I wanted to watch One Piece, it would just continually get bumped for the shorter shows because I could be like, oh, I can watch Trigun and Samurai Champloo after One Piece in 6 years, or I can knock them out now and start One Piece afterwards.
yeah. I am a little worried about your development here, though, Nate. Like, we keep these shows queued up for you, but I'm worried that we're feeding you more of the same. So many weird genres and new things in anime. I want to throw some oddballs at you here.
I mean, if they're shorter, throw them at me. I'll watch them.
I just remembered the second anime that you didn't finish. It was Goblin Slayer.
Okay. Now, I never actually started Goblin Slayer. I watched the first 10 minutes as requested, right? And then turned it off. And I was like, I don't care about this. Like, I never intended to watch Goblin Slayer, so it does not count.
If y'all want to get into isekai, I'm not an isekai. Well, I guess isekai is Frierin's not an isekai.
No, I don't think so. Right?
But that's a different. It's not what you're used to. But Frieren
actually just a fantasy anime.
Yeah, it's well done.
How do you spell that?
Frieren. It's well done, and that honestly took me a little bit to like really get capsulated by it, but it's pretty good.
I enjoy slow paced shows sometimes, and I'm not far into that show. If the like memes that I'm seeing online are accurate in their screenshots, the show gets kind of weird too, in a funny way. But right now it's just been kind of serious, and I like the just taking a step back from all the bull crap I've been watching, and this show is a little more human, a little more real. It's very like interhuman relationships and things, but in a fantasy world. But it's got some weight to it. I like it so far.
Okay. Well, I mean, I might consider it after my long list. Like. All right. Well, guys, we're at hour 25. Try to keep it to an hour and a half after our 3-hour top 5. But anything you want to talk about or touch on before we call it a night and dip?
Don't give me any spoilers on My Hero because I'm going to let those episodes rack up.
Okay, we will do our best. So no spoilers for that. Keaton, anything?
No, man, just always appreciate it. Glad we do it. We would skip a couple months just because of life, but need to make sure we continue to make it a point of emphasis.
Yeah, our sponsors and stuff were not very happy that we missed a couple months.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, anything for you, my man?
Oh, man, enjoyed it. Look forward to it next time.
Yeah, appreciate y'all guys. We'll see y'all in 1 month.
All right.
See you.
See ya.